Alright, so I wanted to show you a couple of my favorite pelvic floor exercises. And something you may notice is they are not traditional pelvic floor exercises that you think of. They're not glute bridges, it's not breathing. It's a little bit more about getting the muscles around the pelvic floor functioning better. So one of the first ones is a toe tap. And what we're going to do is let's just start facing forward. You're going to bend the bottom knee, tap the foot forward and bring it up. All right? Tap and up. Tap and up. And now I want you to start moving it around. So we're going to tap to the diagonal, tap to the front, tap to the diagonal, tap to the side, tap to the back diagonal. Back diagonal, side. Diagonal, front diagonal, front. And you can just keep doing this in multiple directions. And let's do it on the other side while I tell you why this works. So just practice. All right, so one, we're getting some great movement in that supporting leg because it's super important to get your Achilles and your calves working as well. We also are moving our legs in multiple directions because our pelvic floor doesn't just go up and down. It moves in different directions. So our leg moves forward, it moves all the way around. But our pelvic floor is really used to doing the kegels, which go up and down, and walking, which is this front-back motion. Think about bending, think about squatting, all of those things. It's all front-back. Biking, running, walking, picking things up. We're all working this front-back motion versus a side-to-side and a diagonal motion. And our pelvic floor needs to work in all of those areas. So just by doing this, stretching out in different areas, we're going to work the pelvic floor as it's not often worked. And that's what we need. So that's exercise number one. Exercise number two is super helpful for both your pelvic floor and your abdomen. So if you have diastasis recti, this is a great one to help bringing in your abs back together and firm up down that connective tissue, the linear elbow down the center. What we're going to do is we're going to work on our thoracic rotation. So our thoracic rotation, so this is the sort of upper part of our back here, and it's meant to be able to move. So those people who have this sort of forward flared ribs with this tight back, that's a tight thoracic area of our back, and they can't often bring their rib cage down because they've lost that thoracic motion. But they've also lost that thoracic motion this way as well, so that twist motion as well as that diagonal type twist motion. And this is super important because this area, this thoracic rotation, works in with our external obliques as well, and if they don't release, our core can't come back together. But it also impacts our pelvic floor because that really impacts how we breathe, because if we're stuck in different positions, our diaphragm can't drop, we don't get that whole breathing mechanism. So this one's nice and simple. You can do it seated or standing. You're going to cross over your hands and put them on either side of your shoulders. We're going to rotate. Then I want you to inhale, press your hands into your shoulders. Then exhale, see if you can rotate a bit further. Inhale, press. Exhale, rotate a little bit further. Come back to the center. Do the same thing again. So rotate, inhale, press, exhale, rotate, inhale, press, exhale, rotate. And you want to try and keep your hips facing forward. If you find that you have a tendency to rotate with your hips versus rotating with your thoracic area, I want you to grab a yoga block or a ball or something, and you can squeeze it between your knees. This is super good if you are sitting because it can help you keep your pelvis into alignment. And then try squeeze, because by squeezing your knees together here, so getting those inner thighs activated, it makes it harder for you to do this. And you'll know that you've done that because you'll feel it with the block. The other thing to watch is if you're really trying, and you can see I have relatively limited thoracic rotation, you can see as you try down, if you really try and you end up doing this, so you pinch in order to turn, that tells us that your QLs, or some of those back muscles in there, are so tight, they're taking over, which is what's causing this lack of thoracic rotation. So you may want to think about stretching those out. All right, give those 2 exercises a go. They are some of my favorite ones for pelvic floor work, and let me know how it goes.